Hey, folks, welcome to a Thursday edition of the Political Near with your hosts, Blake McKenzie and Rachel Scose. I'm in Nanaimo, British Columbia, Canada. Blake's in Victoria, but we both love the United States dearly. And I, in particular, I always like to say this, I'm all on board with Trump. Do you know I got an 8 by 10 black and white glossy autographed picture of Donald John Trump, the current president of the United States? Number, what is he, 45 and number 47. Okay, those are the two numbers.
Well, to say how you got it.
Well, I got it from, okay, you tell
We got it from a friend.
A disgruntled liberal.
Who was trying to, you know how you try to excommunicate demons out of your house or whatever, What's that called?
Exercise.
So he had to get his Trump picture out of his house because he's a TDSer. But so we are privileged to have it in our home.
So, ladies and gentlemen, as always, this show is going to be a little mix of, and I got friends all over, like I said, my sister's in Aspen, Colorado, she's an American citizen, but this was gifted to me. It's great, So
Looks awesome.
Yeah, I got that. And then I got the classic, I got to have this. Hang on. Okay. Hang on. Oh my God. Make America Great Again. This is the one. Isn't this a collector's item? Well, we got more sad news in the world of celebrities. We just lost Ozzy Osbourne. Today it was the news broke that Hulk Hogan, the wrestling phenomena, Vince McMahon, I was just reading his tribute to the Hulkster. And he said he was a true superstar and that he transcended the medium. In fact, you know what? Why the hell? I'm going to share it.
He was a cultural icon. Definitely.
Well, I got it. I mean, it's right. It's here. I might as well do it here. Make it big for the kids. The world lost a treasure today. Hulk Hogan was the greatest WWE superstar of all time. Someone who was loved and admired around the world. He was a trailblazer, the first performer who transitioned from being a wrestling star into a global phenomenon. His grit and unbridled thirst for success were unparalleled and made him the consummate performer. He gave everything he had to the audience whom he appreciated, respected, and loved. He leaves us with one of his favorite expressions, train, take your vitamins, kids, and say your prayers. Today, we pray for him. And certainly we pray for his family and loved ones. But Hulk Hogan, Blake, you're the perfect age. You're 11 years younger than myself here. I always lock that in ever since I've known Blake for a long time. He's just a youngster, but my little Hulkamaniac, and you were just the perfect age in the 1980s when Hulk was coming into his own, and wrestling reinvented itself in the 1980s. We'll do a little bit of this because I think Hulk's worth it. He was certainly a patriot. He loved his country, and he liked and perhaps even loved our current president, Donald John Trump. But tell me about your own thoughts about the Hulkster, and we'll just do the thing.
Well, I mean, the 80s for me, I was born in 69. So the 70s, I was a kid.
Yeah,
I grew up as a kid, right? And then in the 80s, it's when I became a teenager, right? And then turned 19 and then eventually 20 at the end of the 80s. So Hulkamania was at peak when I was in my teens, right? That's when he really exploded. And I remember a lot of my friends back then. I mean, I remember going back to my grandparents. This is where it kind of started. They lived in Manitoba from my dad's side. We're all Manitobans. Yeah. And I would go there and as a kid start watching, what is this show on TV? All Star Wrestling.
Yes.
And it was all Canadian wrestlers.
Yes,
at that time, right out of Calgary and all that. We'd watch it. It would be like, this is where it all began. And then, all of a sudden, this what used to be kind of like regional TV shows. And it was so hokey, right? But it was fun to watch, and there'd be big arguments with your friends. Is it real? Is it fake? Is it real or fake?
Yeah,
and then Hulk came along, and then all of a sudden it went from, in those halls and little auditoriums to stadiums. Like all of a sudden it's Hulk, right? And Andre the Giant, right? That was the two biggies that came out of the 80s. And I remember my friends, there was people I knew that because of that, wanted to get into wrestling professionally, and it was people would start doing it, and there was trainers doing it, kind of like MMA is now. Everybody's practically learning to do it, all that kind of stuff. It's become,
it's
radically popular.
Yeah,
but back then, I mean, it was Hulkamania, man. That's exactly what everybody was. all behind. And it was rock and roll. It was, and then he made as he went aged in his career, he became Hollywood Hogan. He became the guy that was the popular hero, and then he decided to become the anti-hero for a while, where he became
that never
enemy.
worked. That never worked for me. He was too good. We loved him. I loved him as the perennial good guy. You got the heels and the baby faces, and for me, Hulkster, well, he was the perennial good guy, and I like cheering for the good guys. Now, my friends would go watch the local wrestling here in Victoria. I'm in Nanaimo. I grew up in Victoria, is my hometown. At Memorial Arena, they'd go and they would cheer for the villains. So they would,
or the patsies.
The
patsies that nobody knew. Some skinny guy in red shorts gets thrown around.
They used to do the 10-man battle royal, and Canadian legend superstar Eric Froelich, the barefooted wonder, would always be the first guy thrown. He was a small, lithe, athletic, physical guy, but Froelich was inevitably the very first guy that would be thrown over the top rope. And then, of course, Canada's answer to Hulk Hogan had to be Gene Kiniski, the legend that was Gene Kiniski. Everybody loved him. I mean, a great Polish name out of Manitoba, right? You got that whole Polish community out there. Kiniski.
I remember him.
Yeah, so we had there's this strange thing, and even Chris Jericho, Canadian,
the Hart brothers,
the Hart Foundation. So there was a lot of this Canadiana that seems it's kind of like rock and roll. We got a lot of Canadians, Neil Young and Denny Doherty, who went in with the Mamas and Papas.
Well, what do you do all winter when you're frozen in? Well, you go into a ring in a gym and you throw each other around.
Well, you just get into your little romper shorts. But you're right. It really changed in the 80s. It went kind of regional into a national and then an international phenomenon, the British Bulldog and all this. And we've lost so many of these guys, and it's no small wonder. It doesn't really come as a surprise that the Hulkster, a lot of these guys did steroids. There was a lot of drugs going around in the 80s. Everybody was doing cocaine, and
their bodies were beaten to crap. I mean,
I don't know. And I can't cast any. I don't know about Hulk personally, but I know a lot of these guys. Razor Ramon, Scott Hall. He, infamously had his battles with drugs and stuff. My favorite from his was he's doing an interview. He's got his trademark, the little toothpick going. He goes, "The chicas are for the fun," and then another. And one of my favorite eras. They'd go through eras and periods, and the storylines would involve. Nothing made me happier than I would see the Hulk Hogan come out with Randy Macho Man Savage and the lovely Elizabeth. Those three, when they were doing their story, and they were all friends, and it was a happy time. It was a glorious happy time, and I love that era. And tragically, all three of them are now passed on. So big salute, big ghost town politics salute to the legend that was Hulk Hogan. Well, Blake, we're primarily about the politics here, so let's start a politicking. I'm sorry. Sue's got a great quote here. Before we leave the Hulk Hogan story, I want to say thank you to Sue, my lovely wife, who brings in the real stuff here. Here we go. What a great post this is. A few short months ago, Hulk Hogan gave his life to Jesus Christ. Hogan was baptized in a total surrender and dedication to Jesus. Rest easy, Hulk. Wow, getting me choked up. There he is getting baptized there. Wow. Holy smokes. Getting me misty.
Tissue, Tito.
Give me a tissue, Tito. That is fantastic. I hope you still got your sound, Wolfie. I've got a sound. Blake, I hear you fine.
Yeah.
Anybody else hearing stuff? I hope you can hear everything good. But that's our friend Wolfie.
What a wonderful ending to his life there.
Well, praise God that he committed his life. That's quite touching for me.
Yeah.
So God bless Hulk Hogan. God bless Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Wow, eh? Wow. Okay. Jack, can you hear us? South Park was excellent. Yeah, I heard it was pretty funny. They put Trump in the South Park and he was running around doing some stuff. I haven't seen the clip, but South Park's brilliant. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's parody. Anybody can do it. Everybody can have their giggle. It doesn't bother me in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Blake, you were talking to me before. You were saying things are winding up. The deep state, we call it, and there is no shadow of a doubt that a deep state does exist. If we've learned nothing over the past few days, that there is definitely, I think it's a conspiracy to suggest that there is no deep state rather than that there is one. Things have gone full circle. Tell me your thoughts. What were you encountering? Thank you, Danny. Thank you for that. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I think I've been, watching just the news networks. I saw Brennan was on CNN and they were asking him, what are you going to do if Trump comes after you? And, he still, you could tell his voice was much different, not as confident as he sounded, years ago. And it was not even really that long ago, but, 5 years ago, he was a different man. He was, this guy's Russia. He's a Russian asset, trashing Trump's name, doing everything in his power to not only just remove him as president, but to actually put them in jail and destroy people's lives. And now he's acting like he's some kind of innocent party. But was interesting, he made some statement, and the rats are going to start ratting each other out. When he said, well, there was others, right, that all worked together, that understood what was really happening behind the scenes with regards to Russia. So he was still hiding, but he was saying these words like others that were involved. So now he's like, okay, is he going to start pointing fingers? Well, I wasn't the only one here, right? And I think it was interesting just listening to that CNN interview. If you wanted to find it and put it up, there's a brief clip on it. But yeah, it's essentially
in full disclosure, I can't stand listening to these fuckers. That we know that they're corrupt. We know, like Clapper was on as well, and he's lawyered up already. They are going down. There's no way Trump would have done a full court press on this with the DOJ and the announcement and the words of treason, all this stuff, if they aren't going to do something. Time has come. It's been a long time. They couldn't have done it 10 years ago. They can do it now. We're going to watch. You stand by and watch. We're coming in for the home run. This is the final lap. It's closing in. They've already. Guys, go ahead, Blake. Sorry.
You're right. Well, that's true. Everything you're saying is exactly that. And I think the difference is people say, well, there's no such thing as a deep state. Well, there is. And here's why. You're watching it in action. But essentially, we can understand political opposition is another political party who's going to trash you because they want to take power and blah, blah, blah. We can handle that. But this is different. This is when you hire a bureaucracy and control a bureaucracy with the sole goal to destroy your opposition, not just politically, but you are going after them personally. You're out to put them in jail, destroy their businesses, ruin them forever. And that's a big difference. You are using the government engine as a political weapon. And that is the difference. That's the deep state. These were hired guns to do the job of destroying all opposition. And this, if anything, proved that the deep state had been operating for a long time. I mean, we know that, it was alluded to by JFK, when he talked about secret societies. It was Ike did the same thing on his way out about the military industrial complex, the warnings they gave. These guys had built an apparatus that could operate like a strata of government that was not under the control of the will of the people, right? So we, the people, did not have control of those mechanisms. Those people created their own. And I think the deep state got to the point where they saw the risk, the MAGA revolution, the Tea Party revolution, there was a train coming that they couldn't stop, and they did everything in their power, which exposed them. They were using the IRS to go after political opponents, political organizations, religious, nonprofits, everything that they saw as an opposition to them. This was all run from a deep state. That's what they talk about. But what's even worse about this deep state is not just US based. This was a transnational deep state. This is tied to the EU, tied to the World Economic Forum, which is their public voice of what they want in the world. It's tied to this geopolitical machine that wants the same thing. We see it in Canada. Just today, I'm looking at Eva Chipiak, who's
I got that story all lined up.
We should cover that. But anyways, again, how it's still happening in Canada. This deep state that is going after people politically to destroy them financially.
But the difference is America has Trump. Nobody else has got Trump.
Well, I would say Argentina has a Trump.
Bolsonaro, is that Bolsonaro down there?
No, he's Brazil. No,
who's our guy there?
Malay.
I forget it.
Malay.
Malay, is that his name? Malay.
Also, El Salvador is doing well.
Yeah,
El Salvador broke away, but Bolsonaro is Brazil, and
then there's the guys in like Hungary. I think has got a good guy in. You know, there's some pockets.
Poland, Hungary, the old Eastern Bloc.
Yeah, Poland got a new guy in. He's more right wing, kind of espousing a Poland first approach to governance.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that America, being the economic military power, they got real swagger. So when America decides to do something, the world has to stand up and listen. Trump, we just talked about it on yesterday's program, how Trump nailed 3 trade deals. Incredible. The tariffs are doing extraordinarily well for America. They get $221 billion.
Well, let's remember what his goal is. His goal is he wants to end income tax, folks. The tariffs are the avenue towards ending income tax. So,
but I want to warn MAGA, anybody that supports this president, against chewing down hard on a black pill. In time past, Democrats have gotten away with shit for years. I have no faith we can put any libtard in jail. I have full confidence we can do so.
And some rhinos.
We're getting control of the courts. This case against Trump, what they can do with this case, because where did they raid Trump? Where was his home raided? What state was that in? Florida. Trump can get this thing out of D.C., out of that swamp, and get that trial. That big trial can all go right down. The conspiracy can go plant right in the middle of DeSantis' backyard in Florida. Huge positive in order to see this through. I don't think Trump would be talking the way he was talking if he didn't think he was going to get it. Somebody shot this president once. Another guy was laying in the bushes to take him out. They impeached him twice. They took his mug shot. They raided his house. Do you think this guy feels like letting off these people that did all that to him? I don't think so. No. I think revenge is a dish best served by Donald Trump. It's going to happen. And so, Quirt, I caution you strongly against any pessimism. I have full confidence. Not only that can they do it. You think Trump allowed that mugshot and all that to be quietly all done? They took it and it's barely a whimper. No. They set the precedent. If they did all that to Trump, congratulations, motherfuckers. You've just opened yourselves up for Trump to boomerang it all on your heads.
Well, I honestly think Trump knew all this even during his trial. He knew all this was going to come out.
Yeah.
So he's been confident the whole time.
Yeah. So and does Trump, the way you're looking at Trump at his press conference when all this legality is going against him, did he look worried? Did he sound worried? Not in the least. No. He was just out there counter punching the way he always does.
Out of the words of from Tombstone, when we had Doc Holliday being played by also passed was sorry, what was his name? The actor from who played.
Oh yeah, Val Kilmer. You know what? You're my Huckleberry, Blake.
That's right. Well, it just when he makes that statement about Trump, he goes, "Make no mistake, this isn't revenge. This is a reckoning. It's a big difference." And I think that's what the deep state is facing here. It is a reckoning. These guys, we have justice coming, not revenge, but justice. That's what, and I don't think Trump is pure. He's a revenge guy. He wants to see the Constitution reestablished. And if he's an America firster like he is, MAGA, and that's what he's promoted, then he knows the reestablishment of the Constitution, meaning all the politicians, the deep state cannot exist in that way. They have to operate constitutionally. So really, he's a revolutionary of 1776 standards.
Yes.
That's what he's going after.
Yeah.
And that will reconstitute the U.S. He's going after the Federal Reserve next, folks. He's not holding back on them.
He's on his way to visit the new building today.
He's not happy with Jerome Powell.
Yeah, because Powell was going to keep Trump's agents out, like Trump was going to send his people. So Trump goes, no way, I'll just go myself. And we got that lovely lady, that patriot in Arizona who's in jail because she said the election. And I forget the grandma, 70 some odd years old, she's in jail because she blew the whistle on corruption and she was thrown in jail. And I've said before, Trump needs to go visit that prison. All cameras, all eyes on. Here's the president make his way into the prison right now, visiting this sweet lady. Also, breaking news. Holy shit, Blake, I got more news. This is one I got to do. Sue, can you go put in as your search Shaman, so SHAMAN, okay, and put in 0 hour, 0HOUR. Put that together, and I got some news on the what do they call him? The mega shaman, the guy with the horns. Yeah,
was that a helmet from or it was like a hat from
it was an
the Flintstones. The Flintstones. Remember they had their lodge?
No, it wasn't the Royal Order of the Buffalo. It was it's one of them real ancient things like they had, like the Prairie Indians. My people would wear that.
Well, should I go Q shaman or something?
Yeah. Oh, I think that maybe they call him the QAnon shaman. I'll go out there myself and I
mean, if he was such a violent protester, he was definitely the most peaceful protester ever, telling everybody to relax and take it easy. And
well, this guy is being exposed right now. He's totally gone against Trump. He's deleted his X account.
Oh, you mean, okay, I've got one here.
MAGA lost the QAnon shaman.
Okay, I got one post I can.
But the one was 0 hour. I'm going to go 0 hour.
I got one of his tweets.
0 hour. Well, I wanted to 0 hour because he really exposed this guy. And he went after him. So, okay. So anyway, well, just grab one for the kids. Oh, no, let's do, QAnon shaman. 100% real, and he's deleted his account. And
you got that there?
His name was Jacob Chansley.
Okay, I got it. Hang on.
Okay.
So is he saying he was a plant?
Well, people are saying that he probably was.
Another Fed that was part of the act.
It's like funny how the real, like he was associated with the QAnon. They call him the QAnon shaman. And this GM goes, funny how the real Q people told everyone to never trust a shaman, and look what happens. And then he goes, he's totally against Trump. He's come out totally 100% against Trump. And now he's deleted his account. And then
you probably find him at Blue Sky. That's where they all run to.
Okay, hold on. Little Scoozy's got something. Okay, let's go. Anyway, this is a really interesting changing of the guard here. Holy shit, whoa, QAnon shaman, 100% real from his account, Jake Angeli Chansley. This account is now gone, and there you go. Oh, yeah, and F Israel and F Donald Trump.
Let's see what the comments say.
Well, is there any comments?
No.
There's a lot of comments on, if you go to 0 Hour, at 0 Hour, and just watch his account, he's been all over it all morning. He says this guy was a phony from the beginning, and he feels he was a plant. There you go. Kimba, the QAnon shaman was outed as a plant a while ago. There's a picture with him. I think he's with Alex Soros or with Nancy Pelosi's kid.
Oh, really?
Something like that. Yeah, there's pictures.
They're all hanging out together with Ray Epps.
Well, yeah, the Ray Epps thing as well. I want to thank Kimba for this, but it's really come out now with this, vile kind of disavow. And Trump gave that guy he was one of the guys who got a pardon under Trump.
Sorry, but I can't find his account.
Okay, don't worry about it. It's all right. Let it go. 0 Hour. I really encourage people to watch 0 Hour. He was the one that revealed it for me and kind of put it out, and I went, holy shit. So I immediately unfollowed this guy.
How are you spelling 0 Hour?
Zero, like the numeral, and then HOUR. 0 Hour. He comes in as. What the hell is it? Hang on, everybody. But Blake, your thoughts while I hunt this down for Scoozy.
He's not here.
Well, that whole January 6th fiasco was. There's so many angles that you could see involvement. I mean, they're still trying to figure out the pipe bomb. I mean, the video footage that was happening simultaneously that has some strange hands tied to that one as well. Hopefully the deep state operation, because that's what you can call it, to try and smear MAGA permanently with the January 6th. And the messaging that they had already pre-prepared for it was proof. I mean, they had the talking points built before anything happened. I mean, they came out, and again, one of those fantastic videos where you look and you see them all saying the same thing on all the different news channels was tied. Oh, he died, the old horn player.
Yeah, Chuck Mangione, he had that Flugel or whatever the hell it was he played, a very easy listening guy, Chuck Mangione. And also the guy I played before the show was on Blake Where I Rock and backstage. The guy, lead singer, songwriter, maybe not lead singer, but certainly lead songwriter, whatever, big player. And Golden Earring from the Netherlands, from Holland, has passed as well. He had ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. And so condolences on all these celebrity passings that we're dealing with. What have you got queued up for us, Sue? Nothing? Is that from previous? I'll delete that. All right. Okay, Blake. So lots going on. People talk about Canada's healthcare. Say, oh, it's free healthcare. It's the best in the world. It's great. It's super. It's wonderful. Let's do emergency rooms.
Fire.
Yeah, we got
fire. There it is.
Let's do emergency rooms, British Columbia. So this is.
Well, you're looking that up. I just want to say to 4D man, Tombstone was one of my favorite westerns ever. I did really like Wyatt Earp version with Kevin Costner. But the character of Wyatt Earp in that was played very well, but not as memorable as Val Kilmer, because Val Kilmer had all the one-liners that you could pretty much recite all the lines from Tombstone to this very day.
I'll be your Huckleberry. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
This is interesting. My good friend Herc is in. Did you hear the DOJ is meeting with Trump's bestie, Ghislaine Maxwell, today? Yeah. I wonder what kind of hard deal she'll get. Well, I'll tell you one thing. The Department of Justice went in to try and take account of these things, but your beloved Obama, an Obama appointee judge, went and stopped the whole thing. Trump is seeking justice. You Democrats, you talk a big game, but when it finally comes down to it, when it's paid, where it's going to be, the rubber hits the road, you corrupt sons of bitches scatter to the wind. No surprise there. No integrity. Corrupt as hell. Your party is dying. Thank God above. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, praise God. You people are going to be just a footnote in American history by the time Trump's done with you. Okay, so everything's really good. Let's take a look at healthcare in Canada. Let's see how we're doing with it. There's an emergency room. A record number of British Columbia's visiting emergency rooms end up leaving before they're seen by a medical professional. A record number. This is posted yesterday, 23, dated July 23, 2025. A record number of British Columbians. I got my own story on this. Sue, do you want to tell the story? Nice to hear your voice in the background. Remember we took my mom to emergency? How did that go?
Oh, terrible. We waited for like 3 hours.
4 hours, I think
at least, and we just took her home. It was too stressful for her to even be there.
She was very elderly.
She had dementia.
Yeah, but we took her down to emergency. We never did get her in, Blake. We said, this is ridiculous. We were 4 hours in. We just packed her up, put her in the car. And this is dating back to early 2000 somewhere, like 2003.
Now it's progressively gotten, and I underline the word progressive because it's progressives that have turned our healthcare system into a sham. But it's true. Now you're seeing healthcare lineups. They're saying they got wait times, much like on highways or ferries. It's up to 10, 12 hours. You could be sitting waiting to potentially even see not a doctor, but they'll give you, like, I don't mind nurse practitioners. They have their role as well. But to actually have a medical doctor see you might be not even get to see one. They have hospital closures, emergency room closures around the province that they don't have anybody in it for our entire weekend. So if somebody's dying of a heart attack, well, good luck.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna have to somehow go, and BC is a massive province. It's the entire western seaboard of the United States could fit into British Columbia. So you imagine a lot of these people are way out there. But this is just even in the cities. You can't get in. And part of the problem is we don't have doctors, our own GPs. We don't have any. Most of the people now, I think it's over, I think they say what's over 50% now, or 47%, it's around 50%, do not have their own doctor because they can't get one. Correct. I don't have one. I've been waiting for years on a waiting list to get a doctor. I can't get one. The last one I had 7 years ago took me on, and then he quit a year later and said, sorry. Back in the old days, somebody was leaving their practice, he'd pass it off to another doctor. You would have a doctor. You don't get that in Canada anymore. It's now rationed healthcare. That's what we live in. This reminds me, a friend of mine, Grant, he passed away a number of years ago. Great guy. He was Croatian, and he told me as a kid how it worked in Yugoslavia when the Yugoslavian system was basically close to collapse. He said everybody was on rationed everything, if you can imagine. Even if you were a public worker, you would get your check. Everybody used to be, okay, you get your paycheck every 2 weeks, whatever. It would become to the point that this week, this group is going to get their paycheck, and then the next following 2 weeks, then you'll get yours. It started rationing out, but healthcare was exactly like that. He said you would get rationed out. And then, of course, they eat their own. Socialists, that's what you do. You eat your own. When you destroy powerful and strong economies, you guys don't care to admit when you're wrong. You completely destroy everybody else by eating their own. But you know what? Your elites, they get all the best. They're the ones eating cake. Yeah. Well, the rest of the peons are getting nothing. Right? So there you go. Canada is turned into a basket case.
Okay,
when it comes to the big bastion of healthcare is no longer a bastion anymore. If you can get in, that's the thing. If you can get into a specialist, you sometimes can get through pretty good, but you got to get in. That's the problem. You can wait years to have things done for you. Yeah. There's people suffering heavily who are getting worse. When you actually ally that article that you just pointed out, is that most of those people don't have doctors either. So they have to go, they can't even get into a medical clinic, which is like a warehouse doctor factory. Yeah. You got to be there lined up, and within 15 minutes, they're full for the day. You've got to be there at 6 o'clock in the morning, standing in line just to see a GP. And then they tell you you're only allowed to give them one problem. So if you've got a bunch of problems, they say, sorry, we only treat one problem at a time. Well, what if all the problems are interrelated, buddy? That's the problem with our healthcare system, is it's a sham. The NDP are a scam. That's why look on the top of the dumpster fire is a hospital bed. That is British Columbia.
Right,
that's what you get when you get progressives running your province for 8 years. That's what it looks like. Hell on earth. And drugs are everywhere and freely given out on the taxpayers' dime. Our cities are turning to cesspools. They look like shit. And I'm sorry, I work in the tourism sector. Our sector is dying because of these bozos.
Yeah. I heard Herc my friend Herkimer is watching the show. It would be great if Herc could move up to Canada. You know, Canada with the drug addicts, we actually give them heroin to help them out and everything. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Herc is a sex addict. So the Canadian government is providing him with prostitutes, which is just fantastic at the taxpayers' expense. Congratulations, Herc. Okay, so Blake, now what do you think? We've already got a health system that's under a little bit of pressure here.
On
our weights.
It's a Titanic.
What do you think is going to happen when we bring grandma in from our newcomers? Apparently now, if you're a Canadian newcomer, you've been here for a couple of years, but you got grandma back in Bangladesh. We got to bring granny and everybody in. What's that going to do? Are elderly people generally the ones seeking help at the hospital? I think they are overrepresented in healthcare.
Well, when you go to those hospitals now and you look who's in those healthcare, in those emergency rooms waiting in list, they're saying more than 50% of the people waiting there are not from Canada. So, So when you look at that, but then when you look at what you just discussed, this is something that's been brought up years ago, but now it's just been exacerbated. That you've got these elderly people being brought in from third world countries who do not have their own pension plans or anything like that, who are being brought in here with those countries not paying us to fund their retirement years. So they're also eligible for getting OAP if they've only been here for a short period. Boom, they're getting OAP. And so they're also putting a further burden on the Canadian citizens who paid into the tax system their entire lives, right? So this is a calamity that's happening in Canada.
It's an absolute disaster. I can't see us surviving much longer. I really can't. I think the writing's on the wall for it. We'll see what happens. 51st state may be our only way out in the natural realm. Okay, this is kind of a fun one. Ottawa-Gatineau could see 24,000 public service job cuts by 2028. Ottawa-Gatineau. Okay, so this is right at the heart of our government. This is like D.C. for our American friends. This is like Washington, D.C.
Our own
District of Columbia. This is where all our government people are for the federal service sector. Talk to me. What are your thoughts about this? Elbows up or what, Blake?
Well, I think I think it's just the propagandist media, because that's who they are. They work for the Liberal Party as well, CTV News. I think that's just the fear mongering, and of course they're trying to ally it. Notice 2028, that's the next election.
Yeah.
So that would be potentially the time where they're going to use that as a way to drum up fears of another conservative government that could be formed. But I think what people need to understand, when they start cutting, they're not actually cutting, not like what you're seeing in Trump. I know I saw an article came up where they showed how many staff that work for the CRA and how many staff work for the IRS. And the percentage is unreal. Canada, the ratio to how many tax collectors in Canada to the ratio is the U.S. And Trump just let 47,000, I believe, of them go, just poof, just like that.
He's cleaning house, right? He's cleaning house. He's fixing it.
But Canada, they don't do it that way, because what they do is they do it by attrition. They just don't hire a new person to fill that role once you've got a bunch of baby boomers that are retiring, or somebody leaves their role to go do something else, go work in a bank or whatever. They'll just won't refill those positions. So real cuts is when you walk in with a pink slip and you empty a building. You're all gone. So we can show those beautiful, beautiful videos of all those people clapping as all those people were being walked out on their final day of the job in the U.S.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that here in Canada.
Right.
That would be
that brings tears of joy to me. Absolutely. Tears of joy. Okay, this is the big story in Canada. We alluded to it earlier in the program. This is a lady as a lawyer for the trucker convoy people, Tamara Lich and Chris Barber, who are on trial right now in the world's longest mischief trial. Shocker. Freedom Convoy lawyer debanked by the Royal Bank of Canada, the RBC, Royal Bank of Canada. Eva Chipiuk could not confirm or deny a link to the Tamara Lich and Chris Barber trials. Now, she was noted earlier as being a lawyer for either some people that were involved in the convoy.
She's at the trial.
Yeah. Well, anyway, she's there, but she got a letter from the Royal Bank saying, thanks, but no thanks.
I just put the link in for it on the bottom of the chat there. I just put her tweet about it is right there with the picture of the letter from RBC.
From the RBC. Yeah, we're not going to read it because it's just, them being a bunch of platonic, patronizing coons. All I want to do is just put the link, like Blake said, and give that to the people out there. Chipiuk status. So, Blake, your thoughts on this debanking as a behavior? We thought, no, I didn't. You didn't. But some people may have thought, well, this kind of tactic, we saw it used during the convoy. We've seen it used, I believe, in England. They've had some trouble with this. Australia, different parts. It seems to be the new globalist strategy. And I think they even did it in the United States, actually. I think the U.S. is also, some high-profile individuals U.S. have experienced this as well. Take it away. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, this is the continued extension of the monopoly class, because Canada has a monopoly of banks. We have only a handful of banks that are federally regulated to be able to operate in Canada. They have to follow the Canadian government's edict. And when you read this article, they say they have to fall under federal jurisdiction. And so we don't have a competition of banks. You have basically 5 big banks that you can bank with that are federal banks. You have some credit unions, which are usually much more locally operated. Most of them are not federally regulated. But the point is that all of them still follow the edicts of the government. And you have the elite class telling, if you stand up to us, we can turn off your finances. And that's what happened with the trucker convoy protests, that people we're not just talking the actual organizers. We're talking about people, Granny, sitting in her home going, oh, I believe in this cause and I want to donate some money to help.
I'm going to give them $1.
So it gives like $20 and gets her bank frozen because she donated money. And literally I saw we also saw a big tech roll over, like GoFundMe rolled over.
GoFundMe's
Canadian
evil.
government.
GoFundMe's credit, PayPal.
So they were all part of it. And then they started going after people who were donating cryptocurrencies as another way to get money to them. Yeah. It's a sham. And what we're seeing here again is, no explanation. I'm sure this is why she is saying specifically, she's not alleging it's because of that, but there is a definite connection. She was a lawyer representing the protest organizers.
She's representing, quote, enemies of the state.
Well, exactly. So this is very similar to the U.S., that if you were a lawyer representing Trump, you no longer had client privilege anymore. That client lawyer privilege was removed. And that's what happened to what's the guy who turned coat on his lawyer in New York,
Michael Epstein, or what?
No.
Michael. No. It's
Cohen.
Michael Cohen. Yeah.
Yeah. So Cohen tried to point that, and they said no. So they said everything you talked about privately with them is now public. Yeah. And we are coming after you for what you had in your private conversations with your client. And then he turned. But that's the whole point, is they're saying you can't have these private conversations anymore with a lawyer. And they've just shown that not only that, you're going to get cut off if you support or help them in any shape or form. We can make your life miserable.
Yeah, they tried to manipulate Cohen to go after Trump, but he didn't really have anything on Trump, so he became less than useless to him. and so they threw him in jail. Basically, it was to no effect for them.
It made him turn, but yeah, it's disgusting. Canada is a wreck. It really is. All these, I'm done with the elbows up people. I really am.
Oh, well, I don't blame you at all, Blake. Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, they got the gold check mark there, a media outlet. A judge has demanded to see records from Toronto Dominion, Canada. Now, Toronto Dominion involved in one of the biggest fraud money laundering things in American history. Way to go, Canada, Toronto Dominion. And the RCMP police regarding the 2022 freezing of bank accounts of a Freedom Convoy participant. So a judge is looking into this. Hope, no, not all hope is lost. So this is going back to that initial wave of, the bank censoring people, killing their bank accounts, locking them. So you can't even get your own money. You can't even take your own money out. And you hear these stories like people in America, no, not in America, but in England, where they go, I want to take my money out. I want to go buy something. They go, what do you want your money out for? What are you going to use the money for?
Yeah, what does everyone typically say to that? It's none of your freaking business.
Yeah, and the guy goes, I don't want to tell you. It's more, I'm going to buy something. Yeah, I'm going to buy something. Yeah. Anyway,
and if you get agitated, they'll call security.
You're the cops. Yeah.
Well, and I think this is an important point that most elbows up people don't pay attention to.
Yeah.
And why Trump has been talking about Canada is nasty when it comes to trade, because Canada is a monopoly. And he even pointed this out some time ago. But Toronto Dominion, CIBC, Scotiabank, all the big banks in Canada all operate freely. As a matter of fact, you have arenas in the U.S. named after, I think in Boston, we got the TD Gardens, you got all that kind of, they're named after Canadian banks that are operating freely in the U.S. But the other way around, Canada blocks American banks from coming up to create competition in Canada for banking, and they block it. So cut the bullshit that we have some kind of, Americans are being evil and mean to us. No. Canada's monopoly class is blocking Canadians from having banking choice. And that's a big thing. So there we go.
Okay. And this is going back to Toronto Dominion Bank. They were slapped with a $3.1 billion, not million, $3.1 billion fine, the largest in U.S. history, for their role in money laundering for our old friends, the Chinese.
Yep.
For Chinese organized crime, Mexican cartel. Sam Cooper breaks down the Canadian response. Do you want to just leave that? I don't want to go into it too much because we are, we got more stories to go to. Just drop the link so the kids can follow that. But there it was, 3.1 bill, Blake. And our old friends, the usual suspects, the Chinese, with their corruption back and things. Now, all this could really make you, Rach, have you paid tribute to Chuck Mangione? We will at the end of the show. We may close with a Mangione number. But so far, it's been the Hulk Hogan tribute. Okay, Blake, all this news can be kind of disturbing. Our next headline, I'm entitling Too Good to Be True. Is it too good to be true? It's there you go. Too good to be true, right under the deep banking link that I had there, Scuzzy. But number 4 in our hit parade.
Too good to be true.
Okay, too good to be true. Blake, let's take it on. So, oh my God, there they are. Justin, The View will be going on hiatus. And in the meantime, no new episodes will be filmed until further notice. Scroll her up a bit there, Sue. Somebody else will come in. Word on the street is that The View is about to be canceled. And that only generates a one-word response from me. Whoopee! Whoopee! No one knows the entire cast of You replaced with shrieking feral pigs. All right, well, get rid of that. So, no, well, I killed it. We got, because time is short. All right, time is short. Put it in. It said, show up for the post and stay for the comments. Oh my God. But Blake, okay, let's talk.
I mean, The View is no longer being viewed.
Well, So what it was, Joy Behar came on and she goes, we're going on hiatus. Okay, we're going on hiatus. We got one more episode, then we're on hiatus. There was no clarification on it, just hiatus, which usually means like we're just going on a little summer break. But with the fact that Colbert went down the toilet, the fact that Jimmy Kimmel may go the way of the dinosaur very quickly, Jimmy Fallon, all these shows, these, and U.S. aid is, dried up. So they're losing a lot of their extra.
I was just going to say, it's the funding arm is cutting them all
I
off.
think
They don't survive commercially without that backdoor money coming in.
Here's some more good news.
Okay, so in further good news, Mike Lindell, Mr. Pillow, the left goes nuts with this guy. Okay,
Yeah, they tried to destroy him too.
They love this guy. We got good news from
Pillow Man.
Yeah, mypillow.com.
Yeah.
Celebrates victory after appeals court voids a $5 million award in the election data dispute. Keep the fight going. Keep it hammering away, Mike. Don't give up. Be like Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson is wonderful. By the way, Kimba speaks for so many ladies. They are a terrible representation of women. Sue, would you agree with that, the view?
Oh, yeah. Oh, awful people.
Yeah, that's
horrible people.
And but I think the more truth is going to be coming out. So 2 good stories right there. The View may be on their way out. There's no talk at this point. Word on the street is it's early days. We'll have to wait and see what ultimately becomes of it. But Blake, they may be gone from the airwaves. And
CD Tears? You see Tears?
I'm saying no more tears.
And that's Ozzy's song too, by the way. No more tears. There we go.
And then Mike Lindell winning. So 2 good stories in the midst of where there's so much negativity and bad.
Well, they use the IRS to go after him too. So I think I hope he sues for billions in damages.
Yeah, well, that's the next step, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to see it. We know that Trump is going after CBS. We know that he won. Trump went and Truth Social, put out a big message say, okay, I got the money in from CBS on the lawsuit. So I got my $16 million with promises for more funding and more coming to a total of $32 million coming from those fuckers. And then he just won again. He's going to win. For all the trash with the Epstein, all that bullshit is going to come back and bite a number of players. Okay, nothing to see here category.
The reason I brought this up is because we're going to be able to see the video camera footage.
From the Obama's been released.
From the Obama state is
okay. So this story, remember Barack Hussein Obama had his chef, and the chef died under mysterious circumstances. Did we ever find out what happened to Obama's hands? The day after his chef drowned in his pond, he showed up with bandaged fingers with no explanation. Could there have been teeth marks or bitings? I mean, what could have gone on? Master is still withholding basic info. So anyway, we'll find out. But there's a D-class going on underway on that situation. So stay tuned, kids. I think the floodgates are opening. Yeah. It's first a trickle. It's going to trickle, and then there's going to be a flood of information. Buckle up. It's going to get bumpy. You libtards are going to be in for a lot of.
It's like when the mob was being broken and breaking down. It's a crime syndicate finally being trashed.
Mainstream media is a dead duck unless governments force citizens to run MSM. Correct. All these mainstream magazines, Maclean's magazine in Canada, these media outlets that carry water for the establishment are running into trouble. I just saw a post today. Can you do Global News TV, kind of just Global News bankruptcy? So Global News is running into heavy financial problems. They're one of the big ones, CBC, then CTV, and then the third player in Canada. These are the three we got, Global News Network. And a headline came across today, Global News Network fighting for its life, trying to
Can I provide a commentary on that?
Please do.
What does that mean when they're posting those up? It's saying, Carney, give us more money so we can keep propagating you, or else we shut down. So these guys do this every time. They run all these stories about, oh, this newspaper's in trouble, that one, and they're all propagandists for the government.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. And then they get money. And that's so, oh, we can't allow Canadian content. That's the excuse they put. Canadian content from being lost from the media sphere. But really what it just means is pay us more money so we can keep doing the propaganda. And they're paying Twitter trolls as well. Let's face it. There's a ton of people. There's no way they would have followers if it wasn't getting government money.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Follow the money as usual. Okay, we got another headline. Sue's doing stellar work backstage here, bringing up all these headlines. Global news is on the brink amid declining revenues. Again, these entities are no longer able to sustain themselves because people are tuning out to them. There's just not the support. And even though you hear the elbows up crowd, the Laurentian elite in Canada, the US, CNN, we're seeing it across the board everywhere.
Yeah.
And as our friend 4D says, the mainstream media, some people don't like the term, we can call it legacy media because they are no longer representing the mainstream, goes the argument. Legacy media is a dead duck unless the government's forces to fund them.
Well,
like they do in the UK.
I think I would argue the point mainstream anymore. I don't believe they're mainstream. They're not anymore. They're no longer mainstream. They're basically, I don't even think they're just legacy, I guess is probably a better term. They're just kind of hanging on there. But the problem with the Canadian side is they're also advocating for that digital tax that Carney paused because of Trump. Take that thing off or we're going to tariff the hell out of you. And he actually saved Canada millions and millions of dollars in extra taxes.
And I got to tell you, Blake, that thing is dead. As long as Trump's in the Oval Office, there's no bloody way. Trump's not, because that hurts America. Trump will not allow America to be hurt by Canada.
That was a funding arm. They were going to use that to funnel the money to these deadbeat loser media companies that should be bankrupt. They were kind of like the subprime crash companies. Why prop them up with loans from the government or free money? Let them die because nobody's watching them. As Elon Musk said, we are the media now. We don't need you guys. We can communicate freely on X and other platforms, but essentially we can speak freely to each other and inform each other that way.
Yeah, you're so right. There's been a huge democratization of information. Now, Blake, we only got a couple of minutes to go. It's amazing how time does fly here. Okay, so Obama. I love the Hogan Become a Christian. Let's end with two of our favorites. I've got one here. Lisa Murkowski up to no good again. TMZ gets a lot of views. TMZ is surprisingly one of the more dependable news outlets. If they come out with a celebrity death, they are generally going to be the ones to go with. They're generally going to be proven correct. This is part of the problem with the Republican Party. This is, of course, Alaska works with the way they do their voting over there. I forget there's a term for it, but they combine voting. Look at these two just absolute scumbags. Just now, Republican Senators Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, the usual suspects, vote no on advancing Trump's judicial nominee, Emil Bove, to the Third Circuit. Why do they insist on delaying nominees getting on to the court to oppose left-wing activists? Because these kids are corrupt as hell. And I think one of my favorite Trump derangement, delaying nominees, it's about weak Republicans giving a left-wing pressure instead of standing firm on American first appointments. They are corrupt as hell.
Yeah.
Do you recall the picture of Dianne Feinstein with her hand? She had, I think it was Susan Collins there in the hallway. It could have been Murkowski. And she's leaning up with her hand, and the body language is all there. Get in line, Murkowski. This was back back in Trump's first term. and she was laying down the law in no uncertain terms. It was an outrageous photo because you had the head of the Democrat National Committee there going against a Republican and laying the law down. The body language was extreme. If you get Feinstein Murkowski picture,
Sure.
You could see it. It was just iconic.
It was, yeah.
It was just absolutely iconic. I think it was Murkowski. It could have been Collins. Big E, we love you. Okay, well, in that case, I'm done too with everything. Bye. Poor Ian. No longer on the Discord. Is that true? Yeah, Sue had to leave for mental health reasons. The Discord is highly emotional. There was a lot of negativity about this program there. There was a lot of negativity about the regular program I do. And so because of that, Sue just wasn't into it. And who can blame her? Okay, look at the body language here, okay? Oops, cell phones have cameras. The hidden Dianne Feinstein intimidating Lisa Murkowski to vote against Justice Kavanaugh. And look at that. Look at the lips on that. It's unbelievable what you're seeing there. This woman is not happy. Murkowski's doing her best to try and talk her way out of it. But the body language on this thing, I can explain. Like hell you will. You're going to do exactly what you said, what I tell you to do, lady. So anyway, absolutely.
Are you sure that wasn't a lover's quarrel? Kind of had that look.
Yeah, we should be so lucky. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Herc, Big E, we love you. Big E, we love you. Don't you go nowhere.
Herc, I'm not a boomer. I'm a Gen X. So yeah. I saw that earlier comment.
Okay, yeah, he's a Gen X kid. I'm your boomer. Throw the slinky at me. Okay, yo. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share the video. It helps us out a lot. We do appreciate all of you watching, including our liberal heroes. And we're going to be back for the Friday show, and then we're going to have a nice break for the weekend, which is nice. Okay, Blake, thank you so much for being here. Take care, everybody. Bye for now. Poof.